Okay, folks, well, good morning again.
Morning.
I'd like for you to turn to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3. 1 Corinthians chapter 3. You know, Pastor John shared with us last week something that was very interesting to me. He talked about how you can talk to another believer and everything is just going fine. It's just a wonderful conversation until you come to something that they don't believe, and then sometimes they almost go ballistic. And I thought about that with the word grace. I think I shared this with you some time ago, but you know, you can talk to a grace believer that you've never maybe met before, and you can talk for quite a while, and they seem to just be absolutely in sync with you. You know, it's just wonderful to talk to them. But folks, many times, if you talk to them long enough, they're going to try to slip some kind of work in on you. It just seems to be the way it is. They seem to be in complete agreement. It is today God's grace that we're saved. You know, when you talk to them long enough, as I said, they put some works in it. And it's that famous sentence. They look at you and said, I know what you're saying, but. I know what you're saying, but. Millions today are striving to make themselves acceptable to God by good works. Such people are never sure of salvation for the simple reason that they never can be sure whether they have done enough good works or whether they have done them in the right way. I think some suppose that heaven can be won if our good works outweigh our evil works. Many today think good works is a list of do's and don'ts. Others say we must follow the traditions of man handed down through the ages. Well, I think Paul takes care of that in Colossians 2:8. He says, don't follow the traditions of men. In 1 Corinthians 2, our faith should not stand in the wisdom of man, but in the power of God. The question is, what is considered good works? You get many different answers to that. I personally believe Paul lays this out for us in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 when it comes to works. Notice chapter 3, verses 9 through 15. Here the apostle says, for we are laborers together with God. Ye are God's husbandry, ye are God's building. According to the grace of God which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereon. For other foundation can no man lay than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work, what sort it is. If any man's work abide which he hath built, thereupon he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? I believe this is what Paul talks about, one of the places he talks about when he talks about work and the right kind of work. Notice 10 and 11 again. It is according to the grace of God which is given unto me as a wise master builder. I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereupon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. Paul makes it very clear that our work is to build upon the right foundation. We know this is usually not the case today. That's another reason why 2 Timothy 2:15 is so very important. I think today when it comes to salvation, many are playing Russian roulette. Maybe tomorrow, or maybe tomorrow after that. But folks, what happens if one of those tomorrows never comes? How many times do we read in the paper these 5 terrible words in an obituary? 5 terrible words. Death was sudden and unexpected. We have to wonder if that person were saved or were they waiting for tomorrow. That's something we don't know, but there is one who do knows. 2 Timothy 2:19, Paul tells Timothy, he said, nevertheless, the foundation of God standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his. And let everyone that nameth the name of Christ depart from iniquity. I've heard different people say life is a gamble. Life is really a gamble. If that is your attitude about life, a gamble, my dear folks, when it comes to your eternal security and your faith in Christ and our grace, please do not roll the dice. In closing, turn to Philippians chapter 1. Philippians chapter 1, please. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians. Notice verses 15 through 23. Verses 15 through 23. Some indeed preach Christ even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. The one preach Christ of contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds, but the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then, withstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and I therein rejoice, yes, and will rejoice. For I know that this shall turn to my salvation through your prayer and the supply of the Spirit of Jesus Christ, according to my earnest expectation and my hope that in nothing I shall be ashamed, that with all boldness as always, so now Christ shall be magnified in my body, whether it be by life or death. Verse 21, for me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. But if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor, yet what I shall choose, I wot not. For I am in a strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart and be with Christ, which is far better. Nevertheless, to abide in the flesh is more needful for you. And having this confidence, I know that I shall abide and continue with you for all your furtherance of joy. Notice verse 21 again. Here Paul says, for me to live is Christ, to die is gain. In this terrible world, terrible evil world today, that is a very important verse. That is a very good verse for us to say day by day. For me to live is Christ, to die is gain. Thank you so much.